everybody. So a common theme this week with my clients and in my groups and on social media has been the stressors of the holidays and the triggers for those who struggle with substance use. And so I wanted to get on today, just shoot a quick video with 3 skills that you can adapt to help you with those urges during this time. So the first one is opposite action for love. It's also called burning bridges, part of the burning bridges skills when we look at DBT for substance use specifically. So we know love is a justified emotion when loving the person or object increases the likelihood that we will have a values-driven life and that we will be happy. And so most people who struggle with substance use have feelings of love towards their substance of choice at one point or another. They also probably have feelings of hate. But we use the opposite action for love because this thing isn't making your life better, right? It doesn't improve the quality of your life. It doesn't help you enhance your goal-driven behaviors or live more in tune with your values. And so when love doesn't fit the facts, we do opposite action. Opposite action is complete cutting out of that thing from our life. And so what that might look like is defriending some people on social media, deleting some phone numbers, taking away the chance of access that's like accidental on a day when you're already feeling like not strong enough to handle that. So, on a good day, it may be totally cool to be scrolling through Instagram and see a picture, of a friend that you used to use with regularly. But on a day when you're really low, if that person's still using, that picture might just be like, oh, I want to contact them and do it with them again. And so by cutting off that possibility of access, another important thing to possibly consider this time of year is going onto Facebook and turning off your memories function so that old pictures don't come up that could be triggering to old behaviors. Choosing to very deliberately cut out anything that really doesn't bother you on a good day, but on a bad day could be like really destructive to your path. So skill number 1, opposite action to love. Skill number 2 is connection. So a lot of substance use has patterns of shame and cycles of shame with it. And the action urge associated with shame is isolation. I am so bad that I can't be part of the world. I can't be actively engaged with these people. And so I just need to be by myself in my shame and bathe in it and live in it. And that is all that is. And so those are urges that can get really high this kind of year. And the holidays can make you, especially if you don't have a supportive family, really want to stick to yourself. And so this is it. And also the holidays can make you let go of some of the patterns of things that are really helpful in your recovery, right? Meetings, step work. It's an easy time of year to say, I've got a lot going on. I'll put this to the side until the beginning of the year. And so connection is really important this time of the year. It's the opposite action to shame, to stay with somebody who's not going to reject you for your flaws, who's going to accept you in your humanness and understand that we can be good people who have done bad things. We can be good people who struggle with self-control. And so getting into your meetings, whether it's, online because of COVID, or if you still have a place where you can go to in-person meetings outside or what be it, choosing to participate in your recovery actively this time of year, and also doing your step work, staying in contact with your sponsor, or if you're a person who's further along in their program and maybe doesn't have a sponsor right now, considering, do I need to re-engage this relationship? How do I protect myself in the holidays? We talked about vulnerability factors in our Monday night group a couple of weeks ago, and these are the opposite of vulnerability factors. What can I do to bump up my walls of defense during this time when I could be more vulnerable? So that's skill number 2. Skill number 3 is tip. Tip is our ultimate distress tolerance skill. It's our least fun one to do, but in a really crisis time, it will help stop the urges, even if it's just for a short period of time. If it comes down to I am going to do my substance right now, or I'm going to do tip is always the better choice. So TIP stands for temperature, intense exercise, progressive muscle relaxation. The T, temperature, is the most uncomfortable part. It's an ice bath for your face. And so what that means is taking a bowl of water, filling it with water and ice, putting it somewhere low enough that you can bend over hold your breath, and submerge your face in the water for 20 plus seconds. So the goal is that your heart is above your head when you're bent over, right? You flipped it up, and that you're holding your breath long enough to trigger this mammalian dive response, which basically helps shut down the systems of emotion activation and turn on the systems of emotion like regulation. This is not a like be all end all skill. It won't like fix things forever, but what it will do is almost like turning your phone back on and off. It stops all the connections that you are stuck in that loop and gives you a chance to at least engage in another loop. The I stands for intense exercise. So again, the same thought process that we're going to get out of our head, those thoughts of urges, those behaviors we want to do, and move into a physical activity where we're focusing on the sensations that we're experiencing. We all have different mobility, we all have different access to equipment, but what I want to say is intense exercise doesn't have to be cardio. It can be as simple as holding a plank position or doing wall squats, which is what we typically do when we do this in DBT groups. We have people do wall squats. Because most people, if you're not an insanely fit person, after 20 to 30 seconds of wall squats, you cannot think about anything other than the amount of pain that's going on in your quads. And so again, like you're stopping that loop in your head of I need this, I need this, I need this, and getting you to focus on something else in your body. And that's helpful in that moment. The P is progressive muscle relaxation. These are guided exercises of clench and release that again, ground you in your body, get you centered on sensations and away from thoughts. You can find progressive muscle relaxations on YouTube. I'm sure probably like Spotify. I have one just in my iTunes that, was $1.50 that I downloaded. My favorite one's about 20 minutes long. So if you do a temperature, intense exercise, and progressive muscle relaxation, that can be a 30-minute block of time. So like it may not completely stop your loop of urges, right? But at least for that 30 minutes, you're engaged in non-substance use thought, non-use directed behavior. And if you need to repeat it, or then you feel more regulated and you can move on to other skills. So we talk a lot about skill stacking. So those are my 3 tips for this week. I know this can be a really stressful time of year. I know the urges can be hard. And I think the biggest one to focus on is that connection, that right connections to help people who will help you have values-driven decisions and help you when things get dark. So even though if the urges are telling you to isolate, I highly recommend reaching out and plugging into your support system this time of year, because it can be really stressful and you're not alone. So good luck, best wishes, and happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We'll see you next Monday.